Show.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, brother? What's
New
up?
intro.
My other half, Maddie.
The other half. I'm the bastard child.
What's up, boys? We have a great stream for everybody tonight. It's the Flyzone Drone Show, Drone Talk. This is episode 72. We have a great guest. We have Mr. Greg from Pilot Institute. Great guy. We got a lot of news to talk about remote ID and what's coming up. Then we're going to talk a little bit about DJI and their lobbyist drone act. Greg knows a lot about that. So, yeah. So, any flying, Matt? You do any flying today? I did nothing. I did nothing today.
I've been playing around with the Air 2S a little, trying to make myself feel cinematic, although I'm not that good at it. I do attempt. So, other than that, just been ripping FPV batteries, discharging. That's about it.
That's it, huh?
That's it, man.
Getting ready for Chicago, Matt?
Oh, dude, I'm stoked.
I'm stoked too.
Flights booked back. I leave O'Hare at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. And then I was supposed to fly in on Friday, but the plans have changed. I am now driving from Fort Lauderdale to Chicago with Mr. Max Air 420 himself.
Maxie, Mr. DJI Sucks is coming.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
So 20-hour drive, but we'll be all right. We're going to switch on and off with the driving, so we're good.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Maddie, are you going to be ready for the pain? No game?
I am. I'll be ready for shit. I haven't had a tattoo in years, bro. I've been fiending for one. I got this.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll have mine done before the meetup. Sergio's doing mine Sunday, and I'm going to put it right here, like on my bicep or something.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
But yeah, we have a great crowd in the house. What a start. All right. Let's see who's in the chats, Matt.
40 people in here. Hey, let's see who we got in here. Jack Rabbit FPV's in. Scott, what's up, buddy? Flying Flynn Media, welcome in. John E. Drone, Eric, Johnny Drone Flyer. Let's see. Charles Galuski's here. Robert George, new name, new face. That's always good to see. Matt Bagwell's here. Images LLC. I like that name. Stella Violano. I hope I didn't butcher that last name, but welcome in, Stella. And who else we got here? Let's see. Dominic Northside Hawk is in the house. JSK Enterprise. Robin Joyce. I did see Kevin George Fernandez and Kevin Morris. He's actually, I believe he works with the FAA, but I'm not really sure. I'll have to ask Greg on that one. Have Drone Will Fly. What's up, Chris? Technique FPV, Chris Wedgeworth. Got a good crew in the house, bro. Got 44 people hanging out. 107 Drones. What's up, Barkley? Mike Bellinger, welcome in, buddy. Kevin Carter. A lot of new names, man. That's good stuff. Damn, we got to have Greg on more often. Holy crap. Melanie and the Bear Dogs, Miss Mini 2 winner at the South Florida Drone Meetup. All right. Good stuff. Akira Show, what's up, bro? Welcome in, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome in, friends and family. What's up?
Appreciate coming in.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Londonard.
Or else no moderator status for all you. I'll take it away.
Mike Rennick, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Lon.
Lonnie boy, Mr. Abrasive.
Yeah, man. Got a good crew, baby. We're about ready to get on this here.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, Greg's in the back room. We'll bring Greg in. But there's something else I wanted to mention, I think, before we bring Greg in. And I think I forgot.
Oh,
the Midwest Drone Meetup, guys. Don't forget, we have it scheduled for August, and we have a new sponsor. And we'll pull it up right now. Let's see if we can pull it up. Oh, I can't pull it up. Damn it. Never mind. I can't pull it up. Can't pull it up. All right, let's bring Greg in, huh? Here's Greg, guys. Let's go. Let's bring Greg in.
Hey,
Greggy boy.
Man, I get my own intro. That's
right. That's right.
Cool. I love it.
Hey, look, Greg. I
I know. This is beautiful.
It's beautiful beautiful colors, beautiful stream.
I know.
It's just bright in here, bro. I love it. I love it.
It looked great. It looks
Repping
great.
the brand, brother. Repping the brand.
Absolutely. So how's it going, Greg?
Doing well. You know what? It's Friday. Having a beer, talking drones.
Yes, sir.
What else do you need?
Absolutely.
Nothing but a Friday
Just, yeah.
stream, having some beer, hanging out with friends, getting to talk lovely government issues. We're on it.
Oh yeah.
We're on it tonight.
Government issues. Yep, absolutely.
So how's Pilot Institute doing?
Doing well. We actually spent the last couple of days building a new set in our facility. So we've been getting our hands dirty and putting up walls and doing a whole lot of stuff. So we have a cool surprise coming out probably next week with a new set. It's exciting.
Nice.
All right. Looking forward to that. I love that fly through you did. You guys.
Yeah,
did
that was fun.
your studio. That was really cool.
Yeah, Don, our FPV guy, he flew through it. We had a ton of fun recording that. That was a lot of takes.
Good.
Love the studio, man. Love it.
I guess we might as well jump into the meat of the conversation that everybody.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Yep.
Let's do it.
So
yes.
I'm not sure if everybody watched the video that Greg put out about the remote ID and its capabilities and what's coming and what's not coming. It's a bit of a cluster F, if you want, if I'd say so. I did watch that video a few days ago, and there's a lot of things in there that seem a little off, and there's some that I guess people weren't expecting. Just give us the rundown on how this is shaping up and what it looks like it's going to end up being by the time it actually reaches us.
Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, I think, at least on my part. So everybody's, I think, familiar in the chat with remote ID and what it's supposed to do eventually. But I was talking to my team a couple of weeks ago, and I said, remote ID is right around the corner, at least the first deadline. And we don't really have a whole lot of information coming up. And we talk to manufacturers on a regular basis, whether it's officially or unofficially behind the scene. And I always have that question of, hey, how are you guys coming up with remote ID? And sometimes I get answers that kind of scare me because they're not really thinking about it. Or sometimes I know that they can't really talk about it, which tells me they're actually working on it. So, the first deadline is around the corner, which is about 2 months away, which is when manufacturers have to produce drones with remote ID integrated in it. So what the FAA has done is they've given the manufacturers a full year to create drones that have remote ID in them before it's required for all of us when we fly our drones, which makes sense, right? You want to give enough time for everybody to ramp up. But the biggest issue at the moment is we're 2 months away and there's still no drones that are available with remote ID. And I know DJI has a remote identification system in their drone, which is not exactly the same as remote ID. Will it become remote ID? Yes, more than likely. But at the moment, it's not, because there's a bunch of paperwork that needs to happen from the FAA and from the manufacturers, quite frankly, or from whoever is going to submit that paperwork. And that needs to be submitted to the FAA. It's called a means of compliance. And those documents have not been approved as of yet, as of today, which is 2 months away from implementation. So, I've heard through the grapevine that one group has submitted a means of compliance to the FAA and we're waiting for it to be approved. But the point of my video was to really start kind of a trend in the industry and say, are we going to make it? Are we ready for this to happen? And I don't want to point a finger at the FAA, because at this stage, I don't think it's necessarily on the FAA. I think it's more of an industry issue than it is an FAA issue per se. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm sure in the next couple of months, we're going to see some paperwork, but a means of compliance is only the first step. That the document is a document that gets approved by the FAA. It's basically a document that says, this is how we're going to comply with the regulation. And then there still needs to be testing and approval from the FAA to get a declaration of compliance, which is the final approval from the FAA that says, yeah, this device, this drone, this Mavic 3.2 or this Mavic 4 is remote ID compliant. And now we have 2 months to get means of compliance, submit paperwork to the FAA, and then get a declaration of compliance, which means that it's got to happen quickly, and I don't know that we're going to be ready for it.
I don't see that happening. I'm assuming they've been working on it. Recently, I'm assuming they've been working on the situation to where it would be compliant as of the date of September 2022. But I don't think there's any information out there as to whether or not these companies are actually doing anything about it.
No, I know ASTM, from what I was told, has submitted paperwork to get those means of compliance, but at this stage, who knows when it's going to be approved? And there's still, again, like I said, there's still another step after this before we get a final device that's approved. So it's going to be interesting.
Right. It sure is, man.
So Lon's got a he's asking what specifically do they need to comply to when it comes to this September date?
It's under part 89. So the FAA created a new regulation in the Code of Federal Regulation, which is called Part 89, which has to do with remote ID. And in there's a list of criteria that need to be met for a specific device. And it gets pretty technical. If you were to look at the details, it talks about the accuracy of the GPS chip. It talks about, and quite frankly, I don't remember all of them because it's a pretty technical piece of the documentation. But
Right.
But it basically needs to meet those requirements. And the FAA doesn't tell you how to do it. The FAA says, this is what the documentation, this is what the device needs to do, and it's up to you guys to do it. So they don't tell you need to use Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. They just say you need to use a technology that's going to broadcast the signal. It's up to the industry to decide what technology they're going to be using, for example. So that's what we need to meet. That's what us as an industry we need to get to, is that approval.
Now, there's an approval deadline of September 2022, correct?
September 16, 2022, yeah.
What is the difference between that one and the approval of next year's? Because I know there's a second phase to that, right?
Correct. So this deadline is for manufacturers starting September 16, 2022, which is in 2 months. Manufacturers have to produce drones that are equipped with remote ID. So
Okay.
Take DJI, their next model, when they produce it, it has to be remote ID compliant. And
Right.
So the next drone that you buy technically after September 16th, you should not be able to buy a drone that was produced after that date if it doesn't have remote ID in it.
Yeah, so most drone companies are going to have to comply now.
Yes, by September. And then the next deadline, Matt, that you're asking is in a year, in 2023, September 2023, is when all of us that are flying our drone, we have to fly with a drone that meets the requirements of remote ID. So we need to have remote ID on board of the drone in a year. So it's not in 2 months, it's in a year. We still have a bit of time for that on our side.
Understood.
It's coming.
What about
Greg? Greg, now what about the ones that people buy the let's say the DJI Air 2? The one like that?
Yeah, and it doesn't have it. Yeah, it's
have it.
No, it's a different module you're gonna have to put on that, right, Greg?
Yes.
On the regular,
so
on the older drones, yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 ways that you can comply. You can buy a drone that has it already installed in the drone. So that would be considered what's called a standard remote ID drone. Or you can buy a module, which is going to look like, a little module that you're going to put, a little dongle you're going to put on top of your drone that's going to be able to broadcast that information. And if you don't want to do that, obviously you can do whatever you want. But if you can't do that on your drone, you could fly at an area that's called a FIA, which is an FAA recognized area where you won't need to have remote ID. It's going to be a little bubble where you'll be able to operate without having remote
Kind of
ID.
like a AMA field like type place.
Pretty
like
much.
just fly there and that's it. And how big would these modules be though? Do you know how big they'll be, Greg? You don't know, huh?
We don't know because they haven't been approved. But if you look at what Europe has been doing, for example, I'm looking around here. I turned this studio, which is my home studio, into my Lego. It's where I build my Legos. You Legos right here. It's probably going to be about the size of a couple of these Legos like this. That's going to sit on top. The ones that I've seen is going to be about 7 grams. That's one that I saw on the European website. So it's not huge.
Like the size of the anti-collision light.
Exactly.
Okay.
I see.
Now
That's what we can expect.
I've always thought, with DJI having Aeroscope in their app, that any DJI drones, say like the Air 2S, that is a pre-existing drone. I'm going to assume that remote ID will be capable through firmwares with these drones that we have out now.
This is what DJI has told us in the past, that the majority of their most recent drones will be backward compatible with software update. I still have questions about this because if you read the regulation and the requirements, There is a serial number requirement that needs to be a specific format. The older drones don't have that. So the question that I have is whether or not they can give you a new serial number that meets those requirements to go with that. But yes, DJI drones have the software on board to do what it needs to do for to meet the requirements. So I think it's just a technical standpoint. Now, I know a lot of your listeners and watchers, they fly FPV. It's going to be a different story when that happens, of course. Module is going to be pretty much the only option, I think, early on. My guess is that in the future, we build FPV drones as well at Pilot Institute just for our own use. But my guess is that somebody's going to come up with a module that you can attach directly to the drone when you build it, just like an ESC that's going to have remote ID attached to it, or your flight controller. Quite frankly, flight controller with remote ID, I can see that becoming a part in the future. But I don't know how long it's going to be because they need approval from the FAA to do that.
Right? Yeah.
Declaration of compliance.
Okay. Well, there is a part in your video that a lot of people were concerned about, and I was indeed, about the general public being able to scout where both the drone and the pilot, or just the drone.
That's one of the part that we've been very critical about from day one. When the FAA came up with the notice of proposed rulemaking, we were very vocal about not giving the location of the pilot available to the general public. Unfortunately, the FAA listened. They acknowledged that people have a concern, but they said we're still going to go and do it. Yes, if you have a standard remote ID drone, it will broadcast the location of the drone and the location of the controller, which is you, the pilot. If you have a module, it will broadcast the location of the drone, but only the location of the takeoff point, because it's not going to have any link to your controller, so it won't be able to know where you are. So it's not a good solution, quite frankly. I've been vocal about it in a lot of my videos. I think eventually we'll have pilots getting harassed and possibly more. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it doesn't get to that point. But it's not a good solution.
Okay, there's another thing that I want to clarify because there's a lot of people that are a little iffy about this situation. Drones that are sub 250 are exempt, correct?
Okay. Under recreational rules,
drones
that are under 250 do not need remote ID.
Okay.
Under Part 107. So it's all based on registration requirements. If your drone needs to be registered, it needs remote ID. That's an easy way to see it. Under recreational rules, sub 250, you don't need remote ID. Under Part 107, all drones under 55 pounds will need remote ID.
And we've been talking about this for a while, Mike. I like I told you a while back, I said, for recreational pilots, the sub 250 gram drone market is going to get hot as shit.
Absolutely.
It's the market because there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to want to deal with this. And you buy a drone like a Mini 3 for fun and you're good.
Yeah.
But there's one group this is going to piss off, and I'm included in that group. And that's the FPV flyers.
We all are.
The whole shielded operations comes to mind when I think about FPV guys. But I'm not sure exactly how that would work out.
Yeah. So, the shielded operation thing is a concept in other countries. It's not in the US. I know there is a group trying to bring that into play. And I can't make any predictions because I don't work for the FAA. And even those that work for the FAA can't make the prediction either. But the regulation changes over time, and the FAA has shown over time that they can make changes to the regulation and somewhat listen to people, not always the way that we want. But if you look at remote ID and the way that it changed from the proposal to the final rule, they listened. They didn't listen to everything, but they listened quite a bit, and they know that if this doesn't go well, then it's just not going to be accepted. So I'm critical of the FAA, but I'm also sometimes I feel for them because they're not the only agency out there that are making rules. And sometimes they have to deal with other 3-letter agencies, the NSAs and the other ones that are in charge of, public safety and they have to listen to them sometimes, even if they don't want to. So, we put a lot of pressure on the FAA, but I think sometimes we also get to think about the big picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's understandable. Now, there's another situation going on when it comes to this remote ID issue, and I'm not sure you're aware of the updates because I don't think I'm not either. the Race Day Quads lawsuit.
The
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the moment, they're waiting for final. Well, I don't know if it's final ruling, but they're waiting for a ruling on the case, which has taken a while. So a lot of people are putting their kind of their hopes into that lawsuit. I would say we all should be planning as if RDQ loses, and because then we'll be ready for whatever happens. I also want to mention that while the RDQ lawsuit has some merit, there's also possible issues if they were to win, especially with airspace access, because it's more than just remote ID. The way that they approached it is more than remote ID. So I would say, yes, there are some positive, but there's also other things that we could be losing as an industry if they were to win, because it would open other doors where we could lose access to certain airspace because of the way that the lawsuit was built. I'm waiting for the final ruling, and I'll be doing a bigger video and bigger explanation on this because it's pretty complex. But at the moment, because it's only conjecture, so I don't really want to talk about it until something really happens, if that makes sense.
Understood.
Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. Now, Greg, what's going on with the DJI lobbyist U.S. Drone Act?
Oh, that's an interesting one. That's been going on for years now. I've been reporting on this for about 2 years now. So what's happened over time is that other manufacturers, non-DJI manufacturers, non-Chinese manufacturers, I should say, have been lobbying pretty strongly to get DJI banned from being purchased for governmental use, typically from states. At the moment, they're trying to do this more on a national level, on a federal level, and DJI is responding. Which, if it were my company, I would obviously do the same and lobby against trying to get my product from being banned, right? So that's kind of what's going on. They've been doing this for years. DJI has opened their software and said, if you want to look into the software, feel free to do so. We'll let you do it. They've created a government program. I don't work for DJI. I don't need to defend them, but I think we need to look at both sides of the equation as well, and what they're doing. They're defending their company.
Yeah. It's getting a little crazy out there, man. Florida's in the process of passing a law now that bans any Chinese companies, any drone companies from being used with law enforcement.
Yep. And quite frankly, I have a lot of customers that are public responders, law enforcement, firefighters, search and rescue, and this is going to hurt them because
it's going to kill them.
They spend a lot of money on buying this fleet of drones, and all of a sudden you're going to tell them, no, you can't use it.
Can't use them.
We all know that their budgets are not unlimited, and a lot of times these budgets are very, very tight, and they won't be able to buy new drones, which means they may not be able to fly drones, which is going to put their lives at risk. So I highly disagree with the sudden, without a plan of action to transition them to something else. It's going to screw them, and I hate to say it this way, but that's really what it is.
Well, it makes you wonder, who the hell else are they going to use?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Are they going to be forced to use Skydio Enterprise? I mean, there's not very many options out there when it comes to enterprise or search and rescue level drones.
I'll give you a quote. I had a student email me today, and he said, if this goes through, I'm going to be spending 3 times the money to get a third of the drone. That's what he said.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I just don't think we'll see an American-made company come through at the price point that we have and make quality products like DJI or sometimes Alltel. But, I just don't see it happening. And I think Florida's pretty damn close to that law being passed, if it hasn't already.
It's been passed already, and they're trying to fight it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin Morris.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in, buddy.
Shout out to Kevin. If you guys don't know Kevin, he's the FAA drone guy. Kevin is an FAA employee. But give him some slack. He's actually very involved. I've talked to him, and I talk to him on a weekly basis. He's on our side, quite frankly. He wants to see this growing as an industry, and he's really doing his best on that side. So Kevin is a good guy.
So is Moss. Mick Moss is also.
There's a bunch of guys out there. Ryan Latorette was on Heron Show last night.
Yep,
he's a
Kevin.
good dude.
Yep, Ryan is very knowledgeable.
He is indeed. So, let me ask you a question, Greg. off the record. What are your thoughts on all of this? How do you feel about it? What are there areas of it that you'd like not to see in the rule? Or are there some that you think are good to be there? What is
On
your
remote
opinion all
ID?
around on all of it? Yeah.
Greg
So-
don't like it.
I'm torn on remote ID, and I'll tell you why. Because I see a purpose for the concept of remote ID. I hate the implementation of remote ID at the moment. And I think if you talk to a lot of people in the industry, they'll tell you the same thing. And I know a lot of people are critical of the entire concept, but to me, in my head, remote ID is a great way to integrate unmanned traffic management. It's called UTM. It's a great way to help in the future once we grow to having a ton of flights. It's a great way to make sure that we can all separate our flights. The implementation was bad. Why? Because I fly quite often in the middle of the forest. Is it really an area where it needs to be decongested? Nope, not at all.
Absolutely.
You fly over your 40-acre ranch? Nope, not at all. If you fly in the city, close to an airport, absolutely. It needs to be decongested. We need to know where drones are, and we need to figure out what happens. If you fly below treetops, is it really an issue? No, not really. So the implementation is horrible. The concept makes a lot of sense, if that makes any sense.
That
So
does make sense.
Oh, yeah.
that's where I sit. And then when I wrote my comment to the FAA, that's kind of what we said. We had a 13-page comment to the FAA when the rule was proposed. And this is exactly what we said. So on the DJI thing, it's tough because I love my DJI drone, and I they fly well. They make a great product, and I think it's a lot of political stuff. And I'm not a political person. I hate politics. And I think that's really all it is. I have yet to see anyone that proves that DJI is actually doing something wrong. And I believe in innocent until proven guilty. And I have yet to see DJI being guilty. So show me the data, show me where they're doing something wrong, and then I'll take your side.
Absolutely.
They blame them for doing something wrong over a drone that's flying with a camera in the sky, and yet there's millions of these things walking around the streets right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody turns a blind eye to a cell phone.
Yep.
But when it's in the sky, it's a different world. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a new tech. So
yeah. And with the whole remote ID thing, like you say, like flying in your own property or something like that, why need to be tracked? That's the same concept with FPV. I go up to my local park, I get 4 minutes tops on a battery. Why do I need to be broadcasting on an FPV flight where I don't go any higher than the tree line?
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, if you look a little bit behind all of this, I don't think the FAA was behind half of the rules that came out of remote ID. The agencies that want to know what drone is flying were behind it. They want to know where you are because a drone in the bad hands can be a deadly tool. Yes,
absolutely.
I agree with that. Is remote ID going to fix it? No, I disagree with that. And I said that in my comment for remote ID. It's not going to prevent somebody from doing something bad with a drone. So that's the bad implementation right there for me.
Yeah, I have this strange, I made a comment to somebody in there. I about probably 80 to 90% of FPV pilots will not comply with this, and I think it's just going to piss them off and make them do it even more.
Dr. Russia.
Hi, Bob Casey.
Hey, Bob.
I think we got two options when remote ID comes out. If people don't comply, this is not what I'm saying. I don't want people to not comply. I want to be clear on this.
Yeah.
But if this is what happens, then the FAA, not only the FAA, but everybody else is going to realize that they failed in the implementation, and maybe they'll go back to the drawing board and change something. I have to comply, quite frankly. I'm going to say it clearly. I have to comply because I have pilot licenses and I have a business, and I cannot not comply. So everybody else can do whatever they want after that.
Well, I'm gonna do the same.
Have to, man.
And the good part about the module is, as you stated in your video, it is transferable between drones.
Yep.
So you can just pop it off of one and stick it on
put another one. Yeah. So I could pop it off. Like, let's say if I'm flying like one of Sergio's old Mavic Air 2s, and I could pop that off and put it in my FPV quad. Is that right? You can put it on the FPV quad, right?
As long as you're flying recreationally, yes,
Yes.
because the registration number is going to be the same. So what's going
Got
to
it.
happen in the future when you go to the FA drone zone, you're going to be listing your remote ID module, and then it's going to be attached to your registration number, which is only one number. For Part 107, it's going to be different. It needs to be attached to a specific aircraft because it needs to be attached to a specific registration number.
Yeah.
See that?
I've asked the FAA if you could potentially switch them between things, and I know Kevin is gone and maybe he doesn't have the answer to that, but I was told that you would be able to switch them in the FA drone zone, but then I don't know if you're going to be charged $5 every time you do that because it's going to require a change in registration, or if it's just going to be a pain in the butt to go in the drone zone.
Yeah.
Oh, right now it's attached to this drone, and right now it's attached to this drone. So we'll have to see. I hope they make it easy, but
I hope so.
You know what I'm worried about? You know what I'm worried about? Once you put that on your FPV quad, and let's say you crash and then you lose it, then
Yeah. What about that? What if you attach that to your quad and you know, because you crash an FPV. So if you crash an FPV, you can lose that module.
yes.
So I
you could.
wonder how they're going to make that for the FPV. I don't know. I don't know. It's just messed up, man.
The
This is
best
all
bet is to have it integrated into the flight controller. It needs
probably
to be
inside.
integrated into the flight controller, then you don't have to worry about it, detaching. But
Yeah.
I mean, if they can make something like that will go like with the screw.
I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I'm thinking of the only thing what you can do on an FPV quad is just stick 3M to your batteries.
Velcro.
And just
Oh, yeah.
just Velcro
You can
right
do
onto
that.
your battery.
You can do that. Yeah.
Yep. Providing it's not like,
Put the
crazy
battery,
heavy.
cover it. You mean to hold it?
No. Put a piece of Velcro on all your batteries and just stick it to your battery when you put your battery on your quad.
Thanks, Alexis. I love you.
Yeah, but what, Manny? What about if that falls off?
You better find it.
Well, I'd rather just put a battery strap and over
Well,
it.
isn't there latitude and longitude connected to this device? So if it does fall off, you should be able to find it. Just go on your app like every other human in your neighborhood's going to be doing when they know you're flying.
If any manufacturers are listening, put a little beeper on there so that when the drone
Bingo.
goes down, then it starts beeping. I have a light that does that from.
That is a great freaking idea.
Yeah, if it doesn't move after 3 minutes, it starts beeping at like 70 decibel or 80 decibel, and you can hear it from a distance. It's amazing.
Yeah. What up, Robbie? And Lee's in the house too from Adventure P.
Yeah, I can.
FPV.
Oh yeah. Lon said, "Why can't the transmitter report the drone's location?" And I believe it will.
So,
right?
The module will report the drone location. It won't report the controller's location because it's not connected.
But the module itself has a GPS type thing in it. So if you're flying FPV and that thing decides it wants to fly off on you, you should be able to pinpoint where that module is.
You would think, yes.
You would think.
If you can connect to it.
Yeah, if you can connect to it. Yeah.
So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are going to have a limitation in distance and then in line of sight. So if you crash behind a building, it might work. It might not work great, but
now,
yeah.
I have a question. What do you think do you think this remote ID law will change any bylaws when it comes to visual line of sight flying?
Yes. And here's the reason why. Because remote ID is required to move on to the next step, which is BV loss. And the FAA has been clear about this for a long time. There's a great document. If any of you want to fall asleep at night and you can't fall asleep, it's called the Concept of Operation 2.0 for UTM. And it highlights the whole plan for the FAA for the next 5 years or 10 years of what they want to do. I actually have a video on our YouTube channel that talks about this, but the remote ID is required to go beyond visual line of sight because we need to know where those beyond visual line of sight drones are going to be. And so that's the reason why we need to go through that step first. And that's also the reason why the FAA rushed through this. They want to make this happen quickly because they can't go to the next step until they have it.
Mm-hmm. What do you somebody asked in the chat what do you think the weight of one of these modules is going to be roughly?
From what I've seen from other countries, between like 7 grams, I think is the lowest that I've seen, which is really lightweight, to like 12, 20 grams. So pretty lightweight.
So it's like the same size as the one we put in FPV. It's like the V fly. You ever know those little V fly things you put to put when you lose it.
Yeah, the buzzer, like the little size of a buzzer, that little buzzer. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
There's a good question by Lon, which is Lon always comes up with a good freaking question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Asks, why can't a module be attached to the transmitter and the transmitter report the drone's location? Why does it need to be attached to the drone itself?
It's a requirement from the regulation that it needs to be attached to the drone in itself. The reason is because if the drone were to lose connection with the transmitter, the FAA still wants to know where the drone is located. Because if it's on an automated mission, you need to know that it's where it's going or the location where it's at. So that's why.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Crazy stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Dude, yep. It's coming.
So, here's my main question, and a lot of people I'm sure are asking the same question. Why is this happening?
Because they're jagoffs.
It's happening because we have more and more drones flying in the airspace.
Yep.
And the government in general is getting worried about how they could be used badly. That's at least my take on why it's happening.
It's odd because in the U.S. we've never had, death by drone or any type of, I mean, you get a nut job here and there that wants to fly next to an airport or some crap like that. But it almost seems like it's being portrayed like out of proportion.
So I'll give you my point of view on this and why I think they're doing the way they do. For the last 100 years, the FAA, well, not 100 years because the FAA is not 100 years old, but if you think about it, aviation is about 100 years old, right? And we've gone from having no regulation to little by little adding regulation as people died. FAA is the Federal Aviation Regulation is written in blood. That's always what I've heard as a student pilot. And now that we have a new type of aircraft flying in the airspace, the FAA is going the other way around. They're starting with very restrictive rules, and they're going to start to take them away as they feel more comfortable with the technology. And I think that's why we're seeing something that's so restrictive right now until they can figure out what's going on, because this blew up in the last, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years?
Yeah.
And now the FAA is trying to understand how this works. And then you notice we couldn't fly at night without a waiver in the past. Now it's a lot easier to fly at night. Beyond visual line of sight is going to get easier. So they're starting to take things away, regulation away, and making it easier as they start to understand. Now, is it a good approach? I don't know, but we haven't had any deaths yet related to drones. Some people say it's because we're flying safely. Some people say it's because we've had regulation in place that's been restrictive. So you take it whichever way you want. But I think that's why the FAA is doing it the way they do.
Yeah. So, Greg, Robert says, what if I'm already at a max weight for my quad and can't carry the module?
I don't think it's going to be an issue with the amount of weight. I don't think you're that close to the weight that it would be an issue, quite frankly.
I was gonna answer back and say, take your GoPro off. Get rid of the GoPro.
Let me get this right. I forgot. How much would that module be? Starting at what? Like $5 you said earlier?
No.
I don't know the
more
price.
than that.
I don't
It's
know
gonna be more than that.
More?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that a module will be around $20 to $30, but the reality may be higher than that because from what I've seen in other countries, it's closer to $100, which I don't.
Wow,
think
they just want to stick it to us. Yep. But it is what it is.
Like you said, there is an understanding to the concept. It's just the way they're going about.
Yeah.
Limitation
It is what it is.
Cars fly with license or drive with license plates, so they want drones flying with license plates, and it's understandable, but to a certain extent. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to just say screw it and give up the hobby and altogether. So it's just
it is what it is.
I hear a lot from people that say it's the death of the hobby. I don't believe that. I don't
believe it is either.
We'll be adjusting. It might be more painful. It may also be that it's not that big of a deal, and we'll just be complying because our drones are going to be equipped with it, and it's just going to be one of those techs. So I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I don't think it's gonna hurt the hobby that much.
Well, I think the death of the hobby will be the ones that the real
they're screwing up, that are messing up, doing wrong things. Yeah.
So, I see Stella's question here, and yes, absolutely. I think drone deliveries are going to create more traffic, which is why the FAA is interested in getting this regulation up to speed quickly, because they don't want to be caught behind the curve, right? They don't want to be caught with all these drones flying and no solution.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I have another question. Who is going to handle all of this information that is being given through the app and remote ID? I mean, who's going to be on the back end of a computer going through all this info, or is it just for? I mean, is there somebody going to be monitoring this stuff?
No. Well, I'll give you two answers. This data is going to be very local. So if you're flying your drone, I live close to Phoenix. I live 2 hours away from Phoenix. If you're flying your drone in Phoenix, I'll never know that you're flying your drone in Phoenix because that information is only available when I'm within the range of your drone, right?
Yes.
Wi-Fi signal, Bluetooth signal. So if you're flying 200 feet away from me, then I'll be able to see it on an app and be able that you're there. If you're 2 miles away, probably not going to be able to see it. So it's going to be very localized data. Now I'm going to say this though. That's the counter argument to what I just said. Somebody technically could create a box, a module that collects the data of drones that are flying in a certain area. So you could potentially see a city that's interested in collecting data, and they create a box from a manufacturer, if they built one, that would collect this data and say, over time, this registration number was flying over this area on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And then you'd be able to see trends. Now, that product doesn't exist, but 100% chance that it happens. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Robbie, for the $10, buddy.
We have Johnny Drone Flyer saying so is this app free or is it in service?
Is it a service? Like, is it like the regular? Let's say the regular Karen sees a drone in the sky and knows that there is an app that you can go to check the pilot and the drone location. Is that going to be one of those like free apps in Google Play or the iOS for you Apple freaks out there? The Apple Store.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet because there's no modules yet that have been or no drones that have been approved. But my prediction, and again, this is just my personal opinion, these apps will be free. You'll be able to download them because the way I understand the technology, especially if they use Wi-Fi, you guys know what SSID is for Wi-Fi network, right? So the Wi-Fi network name will be all the information for that specific drone. So when you just put your phone up like this, it's going to look around for available Wi-Fi with SSID, and it's going to say, oh, there's a drone here, and here's the information that it's sending. There's a drone here, here's the information that it's sending, and then it's going to go into the app. I don't foresee this being a paid service, which means that anybody out there will be able to pick up the signal. Now, I'm going to say this in addition. Kenji Sugihara, who was on our Pixel Talk show not too long ago, we had a good discussion. He owns a patent to remote ID, and he said that if companies want to use his patent, he will force them to not broadcast the location of the pilot to the general public, which is a big win for us. Yeah. And Kenji's always been on the side of pilots. He's a pilot himself. He represents the Drone Service Provider Alliance. So there is some hope that companies like his that have the patent will be able to prohibit people from seeing the drone location or the pilot location at least. But it's too far forward to know exactly how it's going to be.
I just I don't like this the ability for any regular civilian to pick up a pilot's location. I could just see, I could see the crime rate.
Yep.
Shooting sky high.
Oh yeah.
Yep. You look in the sky, you see a drone, that's $1,000 plus drone. As soon as the person finds out where the pilot is, it's game over. For some people out there, unfortunately, it's just the world we live in, where that's just the way they think. And
I mean, I live in a state where it's open carry. Arizona is open carry, and I can also see pilots defending themselves.
Absolutely.
And then having somebody dead on either side, which is not good on either side, quite frankly. Oh. So, not a good outcome. And I know I'm not the only one concerned. A lot of people in the industry are, and we'll see.
So what do you I see the FAA getting in over their head here with this remote ID, because there's going to be people that are going to break the law, and they're going to find out about it. And the FAA is going to end up with cases up the wazoo that probably more than they can handle, I'm assuming. Do you think that's possible? Because if they could pick it up, say, they catch me flying next to an airport, they're not going to just let it go. Somebody's going to know.
The FAA's approach for about a decade now has been to educate before issuing fines.
Yeah.
And, if today you go fly your drone and you fly close to an airport and then they realize that you're clueless and you never do it again, you'll get away with a warning. All right.
Mhm.
Don't do it, please.
Do it.
Based on just getting a warning. But the FAA is not out there to get us. I don't
I
believe
agree.
that. I don't agree with that approach of the FAA or that painting of the FAA. But you know what? If you're going to do the same thing over and over again and be stupid over and over again, they're going to come after you. And you know what? They probably should. They probably should.
You pretty much deserve it at that point.
You deserve
Oh
it.
yeah.
So I don't know that they'll be paying that much attention, but you know what? The day that you have an accident and they realize that you didn't have remote ID, that's when you're going to be in trouble. And it's always the same thing. It's the day that something happens. You could be flying without Part 107 forever until you hurt someone. And then all of a sudden, the FAA is going to come down on you. So I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, come remote ID and you're flying with a remote ID module on your FPV quad, and you normally do not fly with a spotter, you better fucking fly with one now. Because you got goggles on. God forbid somebody walks up on you and you don't realize they're there. And they know you're there because they looked in their little app and saw that the pilot is sitting in a chair over at the park.
Yep. By
Be
himself.
careful. By himself.
And that's another thing that I don't like flying by myself sometimes, because if I have my goggles on and I'm flying and I'm by myself, anybody can come from behind me and do something to me. At least you have somebody there with you, When
I fly, I make a habit of turning the drone towards me and just to see my surroundings, and then I'll fly, because I always fly proximity. I stay close. But and that's where the whole proximity flying with FPV comes into play. If you're flying underneath a certain height of a structure, and like say at a park where nobody's around, what's the need for this damn device?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if there's really an answer for that.
That's what I mean. Because we all fly. I mean, FPV, you fly. You don't fly high.
Most of the time, we're flying lower than any structure that's around us. But there are companies and people out there that fly bigger FPV quads that go up high, or quads that weigh freaking 10 pounds. But for the average FPV flyer, I just think it's a little overkill.
The counter argument, the counter argument to this is that the government wants to know every drone that's flying out there so they can figure out if it's a good drone or a bad drone. Whether it's a good argument or not, I'll let you decide. Right. I don't agree with that, but that's the counter argument.
Yeah, they're not stupid. Because
have we done enough?
They know.
Done enough? Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
I'm just asking, have drones done enough in society to warrant this type of supervision?
Well, probably not. Probably not. I think it's more about the fear. And you know what? I'll tell you what's happening in Ukraine is not helping with the overall, at least from a government standpoint. They got to be looking at this and be like, hey, drones with grenades attached to them?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's scary.
So they see it happening and then think, well, shit, anybody can do it.
Yep.
That's not good.
Yep.
Look what Johnny says. Look what Johnny says. I wish there was an app that could tell you who don't have car insurance. All this for drone is kind of overkill.
No argument there.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny.
I think the access to the pilot location for the general public is going to be everybody's biggest fear. And if they can get that pushed aside and strictly for law enforcement or people of that nature, I think it would work out a lot easier.
Yep. Alexis, oh no.
I see Bob has a good question. He said, how will the FAA know you're flying without remote ID? And they may not know, but if it's a big event where they need to know where you are, they'll see it on the radar or they'll see it visually, and then they'll be able to see that there's no track, which means that at this stage, they may take you down because they think that you're someone who might be a threat. So They never know. If you're flying in the middle of nowhere, they'll never know probably.
Or you'll get somebody to call on you, like me and TJ had in Miami. Somebody called about flying. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yep.
Radar.
Look what Alexis says. Flyzone, good things.
Good thing Elon Musk is testing drones on Mars. We all may need to move there. Dude, that guy's a genius, man.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to lately, Greg? You've been flying much, and you know, how's have you been flying any FPV, or are you just strictly camera drones lately, or what's going on?
No FPV. We've been testing a couple of drones. We spent a bit of time on the paired Anafi AI, which I've actually been quite impressed with. I think it's a cool platform. It's got a few innovative features to it. I was really impressed. It has an obstacle avoidance that I've never seen before. It has the ability to build a 3D version of what's around you. So if there's a wall, it will realize that there is a wall, and then it kind of builds it in its memory. So if it were to come sideways towards the wall, it knows that it's there, not because it sees it, but because it knows that it was in that location a while back. And I thought that was pretty brilliant from this drone, being able to just move sensors around just to see and build this 3D model. So I'll have a video on that pretty soon, because I've never seen anybody else do it the way they do. I thought that was pretty cool.
Lon's
Yeah.
Lon's right. I mean, they've been doing this for suicide attacks with these drones for a while now.
Yep, for sure.
Well, it's just I like I tell everybody that I talk to about this situation. It's adapt or get out. And you know, unfortunately, if you're like me that loves this hobby to a point where it's your life, then you need to learn to adapt, and that's what we're going to have to do.
We'll survive.
So Lee says, can we put the remote ID module in this?
It's got to be on the drone. I just looked at that. It's a little pouch, like for pop. Yeah, it's got to be on the drone itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which, like I said, use a little Velcro strap or patch and stick it right to your battery. Bada bing, bada boom.
And it should have a battery inside too. Most of them that I've seen have the module has a battery on its own.
Oh God, I would hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be a pain in the ass if you had to hook that up to your balance or something like that. Oh my goodness.
It doesn't need a lot of power, so.
No, I wouldn't think so. Alexis, member for 6 months of the Executives Club.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, I want to thank the members. Joe Blaylock, he's a member. 107 Drones is a member. TJ Giggles and Drones is a member. Matt Bagwell is a member. Let's see. Let me go up more. Alexis, great gal. She's a member.
I'm a member.
You're a member.
I'm a member. He's a member. She's a member.
Let me go. Oh, Bill Ronane's a member too, but he's not in here.
Speaking of members, if nobody out there has, if you're looking to get your 107 and you do not have an option yet, Pilot Institute is a great course.
Absolutely. Great course, guys. Go to Pilot Institute. I'll put up the link. Matt, put your affiliate link in the chats so everyone can go there. And then we'll put up Greg's info right here.
Does anybody else
his page?
Anybody else in the chats have any questions?
Yeah, any more questions? Feel free, because we're about to end it.
After I have my baby boy, I'm gonna start studying. I'm gonna go to Craig Pilot Institute. I'm gonna study and get my 107 after my child is born. Right now, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
So,
Greg, you're going to be pissed off. How long have I had that course? And I'm just now starting to study. I think it's been like a year.
It's all good, man. Yeah.
I am
learning along the way.
I am.
Yeah, you're fine, Sergio. That course will last. Like if you don't study, how long?
It's lifetime.
It's lifetime. Yeah, you're good.
It's lifetime.
Really? I can't?
Yeah, you have it for life. You can study as soon as you're ready. I'm studying already because I gotta go take this damn test.
Yeah,
Joe Blaylock with the 99-cent super chat. What's up?
I'm gonna study some.
Who was that?
Some
Joe Blaylock.
real estates.
Right there.
Like Maddie's doing. Matt's gonna do. You know, like Dobo does real estates and all that. I'm gonna start doing that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna do whatever I can. You know.
I gotta start making more money now because I have another child.
Greg, besides doing your Pilot Institute gig, are you doing any work with your license? Nothing.
No, I don't have time for it.
I'm sure.
I mean, I do have I do have one client actually that I keep around. It's the city of Prescott. I live in Prescott, and the city. I know a lot of people there. I used to do work for them before I started Pilot Institute, and every time they need help, I just go out there and help them. So they need videos every once in a while, and then so we make videos for them. But yeah, that's about all the time I have. Unfortunately, I have 8 full-time employees now, so I got to be in the office and doing fun work. I mean, I love what I do, no question. I wake up every day and I go to work. I love it. So it's
You're welcome. You're welcome, Stella. Oh, Stella, she's Italian, right? Violano. Oh, Stella Violano.
Yeah, Alexis.
Piacere. That means you're welcome.
You guys have it easy because Alexis is actually a pilot herself.
Yeah,
She's
she
a
is.
private pilot.
Yeah. So is Doc Murdoch,
Yep.
Chris. Yep. Absolutely.
Lon said drone pilot ground school. Asshole.
Oh my.
Why overpay? Don't overpay. Just.
I know it, right?
Good night, Robert George. Good night, buddy. Thanks for popping in. Make sure you guys all hit the like button on the way out. All right. This was a great stream. We got a lot of great information from Greg. Greg, we always appreciate having you and sharing your info, all your your news updates and all that. And we'd like to thank you for sponsoring the meetup as well, buddy.
You're very welcome. Anytime you guys need. Happy to talk.
And a lot, man.
My cuz Joe Leo with a $5 super chat. Love you all on the show. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Joe.
Greg, you're a hell of a guy, man.
Yes.
Not only do you run an absolutely stellar course, but you're very involved in the community. And I mean, you're Ken Dono's twin. We can't go wrong, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah, dude. Hey, Greg, I love that video you did of Ken with the beer, dude.
Oh yeah, that was a Halloween special. I was original Grego. I was original Grego.
Yeah,
Alexis, we're married to Pilot Institute. Yep.
Did you see the previous video, the YouTube video he did last Thursday? He says he wants to smash another drone.
Yep.
That's almost crazy, bro.
Oh, that what do you call that octadrone?
Octozilla.
Octozilla. Have you been flying that thing lately? I know you went to a. Did you go to the drone? Crap. What the hell? Flight Fest. Yes, Flight Fest.
Yeah, we went to Flight Fest. We took it out there, dude. We carried foamies or actually even larger scale aircraft, and we picked them up. Went to 200 feet, and we had a dropper, and we dropped them from 200 feet, and they would turn on the motors, and then started flying around. We did that. We started doing it, and then people were lined up. We did like 20 of them in a row, just flying Octozilla with these drones. I mean, there was a pretty big F-16 underneath it, and then just dropped it, and then this thing was starting and just go fly. It was awesome. No, I don't wear 2 watches because
like Jason wears 2 watches.
Boy.
And so yeah, Flight Fest was awesome. Octozilla has been a project for over a year now. We designed this thing originally. I asked my team to design it so that we could carry drones with it. And this is what we did. We built a platform that carries a bunch of drones because when we do drone testing, I want to be able to test the Mini 2 versus the Mini 3 versus the Mavic 3. And we can carry 3 drones at the same time, turn them on, record footage from one platform without having to fly the drones. And it's amazing the footage that we get. We get comparative footage that looks exactly from the same location at the same time with the same lighting. And you can't do any better than that to compare footage. So, and then now what we did, we actually just got a Ronin RS3, and we put the RS3 on Octozilla. So we'll be able to carry any camera on the Ronin and then just fly this thing around like a cinematic drone. And it's just amazing. So it's a project. We love building stuff in the studio. We fly drone on a regular basis. Pretty much every single day there's a drone flying from the office. So we love what we do.
Joe, my brother from another mother. Really cool super chat.
So hey guys, don't forget, if you guys want to come to the meetup, here's the
info down here below the banner. Yep. It's August 13th and 14th. Hey Greg, wish you could make it, bro.
I know. So once my life comes down with kids, because I have young kids as well, I'll be able to travel more and come see you guys for all these events. but right now it's a bit more difficult. I got to be home and be with the kiddos and help the wife. So
yeah, Greg, we're gonna have another one though. It's gonna be a different one. It's gonna be like this one that we're doing is like for GPS and FPV. It's for everybody. But the next one we're doing is gonna be just FPV, Quad Mafia. All the members, we're hopping because we have all members from different states now as members, and we're gonna hop state to state and do meetups to where all the members live.
Speaking of that, you have plenty of time for April
Right.
1st. Hey,
Right.
there's the man and freaking self. Look at that. Coming through.
Double.
Your shirt's coming yellow.
I've been saying for a while that we're gonna make a yellow version of the shirt.
Ken, thank you, Ken.
Hell
Ken,
yeah.
Thanks for the $10, buddy. Appreciate that.
So
See you soon, bro.
I was gonna tell you, try to see if you can make it to the third annual South Florida Drone Meetup next year on April 1st. April 1st, 2023. April 1st, 2023. It'll be in Jensen Beach, Florida. It's going to be in the same location we did it this year.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We got plenty of time to.
And then I'm going to put it in here.
Book it.
There you go.
There you go. It's in the calendar.
I'll be there this time.
You are the man. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
You were gracious enough to support us this year with the lanyards and all, and next year I think with you being there would make a big difference. So that's cool.
I'll do it again anytime you guys do it. I
greatly appreciate it.
This is what we do. I do, and I do mean it. I want to support the community, and you guys help us. I want to help everybody out there.
Legend Big with a $5 super chat. My chat is super because I'm wearing my underwear over my pants, and it's visual line of sight. Good one, bro. I love it.
Oh my goodness!
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, brother. Everyone, go support Wedge and Big. Get them some subscribers. Great.
Yeah, good stuff.
Great guy.
Good
Yeah.
crew, man. Got some good people.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a great crowd. Bob. Yep.
Bob, send me an email.
Yeah,
See, Bob. If you came to the meetup,
I have a second one. But
if you came to the meetup, Bob.
Whoa! Look at Alexis coming through.
Whoa! What the holy moly is it going? Oh, that's a one of better, nicest oldie, man. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
And to prove that the $100 I paid for
Wow.
the fake autographed book wasn't just about.
Alexis, I thank you for that. That was really generous.
Yeah,
Absolutely
nice.
generous. Oh,
Good stuff. Alexis, you're a doll. Good stuff. Good stuff.
she is a doll. She's awesome. Very generous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm shocked.
Oh Jesus, he sounds like my mother.
Kiss for you.
Matthews. Fucker. My mom. Only my mom calls me Matthew. Actually, my mom and my wife call me Matthew. Oh boy.
All
Great
right.
show, guys. That was fun.
Yeah, it is a great show. We'd like to thank Greg again for popping in.
We learned a lot today.
Yep.
We all did, and thank you for all your support, everybody in the chat. Craig, Power Institute, thank you so much for stopping in. You guys need information, go to Power Institute, Craig.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, his link is in the description, guys. Check him out. And more info on the meetup is in the description as well if you guys are interested in coming. All righty.
It's been a pleasure, boys.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Much love, as always. And don't forget, fly safe, fly smart, and hit the like button.
and happy flying.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.